Hello everybody and welcome back to part 3 of our Dark Souls 3 item NPC walkthrough guide video, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be going through the Undead settlement today. And as a reminder, I didn't preface this at the start of the Lothric video, but I do recommend playing through the game, or at least the area, first. Before actually, watching any videos or guides on it. Either way, we're going to start this off. We're going to run to the left, grab another soul packet. We're going to run down here. We're going to take a little shortcut off the cliff here. And then we're going to run up here, and there'll be two dogs snacking on a corpse, which has two alluring skulls, which we will actually use later in this part of the video. Over here to one of the pilgrims that are actually moving. Talk to him, accept his service. That is Yol. He is one of the more useful NPCs in this game, especially if you want either A, your character to be using a Hollow Gem, B, want the Lord of Hollows ending, which is probably the one we're going to be getting in this video, or C, you just want 5 free levels. And if you're not particularly great at this game, you're probably going to be getting those 5 free levels a lot faster than if you are pretty good at this game, unless you just like jumping off cliffs. So we're going to grab the second bonfire here, and then if you look up on the tower, you'll see a giant with a giant bow. Yo will come into play later. But first things first, we're going to go back to Firelink, and we're going to talk to Yol. Because getting murdered in the Undead settlement is something that tends to happen to me quite a bit. There's a lot of things that don't like me existing. So we're going to talk to Yol. We're actually going to hit talk first, and he will give us another emote, beckon. We can then ask him to draw 2 strength, which will give us a level. We're going to put this one into... I'll put it in Dex. Now, he will give you a grand total of 5 levels, but after he gives you 1 level, you'll actually get this key item called the Dark Sigil, which accumulates Curse. Now, if you played the first Dark Souls or the second Dark Souls, you'll know that Curse is a terrible thing. Now, Curse in this regard isn't the same as Curse in the first 2 games. It's not nearly as bad. Well, that's not true. That particular type of curse isn't as bad, but the other kind of curse is bad. But the more sigils you have, the more hollowing you get for death. And that's actually how you'll get further along with Yol, is you'll actually die. You actually need to get so many things from him before a point in the game, or else he'll actually disappear and you won't be able to get the Lord of Hollows ending. But dying should not be a problem, especially even if you just have to decide. If you really want those 5 levels right now, you can go to the Undead Settlement bonfire and just jump off the cliff a bunch of times until your little emblem that's to the left of your health and mana and stamina, once that kind of shrivels up, that's when you know you'll be at the right hollowing to get all 5 of your levels. Now these enemies are new. They're called Thralls. They're they're not hard to beat, but they are slippery. Let's just put it that way. They like to backpedal a lot. They like to charge and do a lot of attacks at the same time. They really only drop like 2 things, and one of them is their axe, and the other one is their hood. And now, I mean, if you're totally fine with aesthetics, then go for the hood. That corpse we had cut down, though, has Loretta's bone on it, and that'll be used for a Grey Rat crest, or the start of the Grey Rat quest line. but can actually eliminate a lot of the enemies that are here by just simply throwing a firebomb. That didn't work the way it should have. These worker hollows have a lot of range. That worked more really. So taking them out at a range is probably a lot easier. We have a bow for that, but we're not going to use it. Now the other thing to note here, this is the first of a very annoying enemy called an evangelist. Now the evangelists will attack at range with an attack called Gnaw. That will cause bleeding if it hits you. It also will heat seek like a motherfucker. Their giant mace there also does bleed. So if you feel the need, keep at range. They are parryable. Oh yeah, and if you get close they do that, and you can just sidestep it and then get a free backstab. Very useful. But trying to get rid of the smaller, more annoying enemies. You could always just throw fireballs if you have them. Ow. I don't like you that much. Punish you for that. Their dark mace or their spiked mace that they drop is quite effective. It's a pretty solid weapon. It's not needed all the time though. Oh no, it just occurred to me that my audio hasn't been recording this entire time. My microphone was muted. Recap. Follow the guide for items. Yeah, Hodrick. He's a parry god. Don't let him parry you, like I did. Shit. Don't just ignore the lack of audio. I glanced over at OBS and noticed that it wasn't picking anything up, and then I remembered I'd muted my headset because my wife came down and actually needed me to help with something, which has caused me to die. That's awesome. Well, too late now, I guess. Follow the video portion of the guide for all the walkthrough, or for all the item locations. I've been talking into a void for a while, apparently. That's super cool. Grab a bunch of items around the tree, make a jump over to this little island out here, and this will actually contain the Undead Bone Shard. Now, if you haven't noticed, all of these spears and the things is actually from the giant on the tower. Now, the giant on the tower would be attacking you if you didn't have that white tree branch that we took in the beginning of the game. That white that white branch that we took as our starting gift is actually the branch that he gives you when you talk to him, and that actually prevents him from attacking you, or like his attacks hitting you. I'm gonna bait the thrall here. And grab the cleric set. Now we're not gonna get ambushed because we know better. There's a hollow right inside. Oh, maybe he got killed by the giant. Oh, well, he's normally right inside. And then there's the red-eyed hollow later. I suppose to preface a couple of things, the fight with Hodrick, when you let him, or when he pulls out his Pyromancy Flame and starts casting power within, you can either attack him or let him get it off. If you attack him during that time, he'll keep trying to reapply it, so that way you can actually get some damage on him. It makes things a little easier in the long run. Now, through this way is actually the boss of the area. We don't want to trigger him yet. There's a couple of things we want done first. And actually, we want to open this shortcut. Now, there's a dog down here and an item on the right. Come on now. And of course, we got the evangelist's attention. And that's really unfortunate. Not as unfortunate as me not having recorded the last, probably 10 minutes. But, you know, it is what it is. I can't really... I can't go back and unpick up items, so... As unfortunate as it is, we're just going to keep pressing forward. Now, we can go up here, or we can continue this way, across this bridge, with the 3 machete-wielding hollows that are carrying bowls of parts, which a buddy of mine call chili bowls. We're just going to avoid them for now. We'll be dealing with them soon enough. We're actually going to go this way, deal with the dog, drop down, heal with an Estus, or 2. There'll be a trio of rats here. Kill them, grab the Kestis. The greatest offhand parrying weapon in the game. If you move up to the fog, there actually is 2 small rats and a very large rat in the fog. We want to just deal with them either with ranged or lure them out one by one. We're going to climb the ladder, and then this door right here will lead us back to the dilapidated bridge bonfire. And as I was saying before, I suppose, as I was going to say before, was when you get to this point, come down the stairs first, deal with the gem lizard, then go up and grab those 2 coins, because if you don't, the gem lizard will run away and you won't be able to get the item and the gem lizard. I'm really sad that all the audio didn't record through this. I am horrendously unprofessional, apparently. I'm super sad about it. Whatever. Backtracking through this, we don't have to, but since everything's dead, we may as well backtrack through it and make things easier on ourselves later. Now, the other way we could have taken is the way to the right over here, in which there will be 2 hollows that will come out of here. One will throw fire bombs. The other one will come up for a melee. Take them both out. There'll be 2 more. One right here. And one right here. Over here for a soul packet. And then down here for a Zweihander, or not a Zweihander, a, what the hell is that called? Flamberg Thrall, which was kind enough to give us another Estus, which will actually help us get along quite well. Up here is the Catechus shield. It's actually the shield that the Pyromancer starts with. It's very good at defending against magic, not much else. We're going to get the drop on this hollow. Make sure you have health before doing that. Come over here, kill this hollow, grab another Titanite shard. And then we're going to run through here and grab the cliff underside bonfire. Now from the cliff underside bonfire, we have access to quite a few useful things. You can come up, you can pull out your bow. There's another corpse up here. You can shoot that. If you do shoot it on the left-hand side so it falls to the right, it'll drop Partisan, one of the very few spears in the game that actually has a horizontal attack to it. Coming up here, we have a couple of worker hollows, which will be throwing fire bombs down at the explosive barrels below if we decided to try and walk through. We're smarter than that. Come over here. And we're going to save Cornix. He's actually our resident pyromancy teacher. Now that we've grabbed that and the hand axe, we can come up here, drop back down. There's a good old chili bowl guy there. We're going to just kind of let him do his thing. We're going to come down here, kill this hollow. Come on. Grab the fire clutch ring. Fire clutch ring is quite useful. Oh, this is unfortunate. Never mind. That's unfortunate. We're gonna actually use this thing that we... Ow. We're gonna get away from him first. And then we're gonna use this thing that we started with. The fire clutch ring will actually increase the damage of fire spells, but also decrease the amount of resistances you have, so you'll take more damage, but you'll deal more damage with fire. Quite useful. However, it's better to not get hit than deal extra damage, unless you're in an area that you're safe. I'm gonna grab this soul packet, get ambushed by this thrall. And then we got one more thing to do before we head back to Firelink Shrine for a couple of things. And I'm hoping I can do it, actually. Because the thing about the thralls is that some of them do a lot of damage, and in particular, their dart attacks do a lot of damage. You don't want to get hit by their darts if you have the opportunity to do so. Because there's like 4 or 5 thralls, 3 of which will be like shooting darts. There's this one right here, which is really just a bait, so that way you can get hit by the dart shooting ones. Ow. There's this one around the corner. Oh no. We're low. I'm gonna get shot in the back. I can tell it right now. Or that thrall's going to catch up to me and kill me. I don't have any items on me that can heal me, do I? Nope. Alright, so alternative. We're going to equip the Ring of Sacrifice. Because we're inevitably going to get our ass kicked here. Like, it's not possible for me to not. Fading Soul is a bait. There it goes. Fucking knew it. Oh well. Most of the area on one trip, not that bad. Cliff Underside. We're gonna go back up to Undead Settlement. It'll be a little bit easier. And now that we have all of our Estes back, we don't have to worry nearly as much about getting ourselves murdered. At any point in time, you feel the need to sit down at the bonfires because you're out of Estes, do so. I didn't because I was almost done with this section and I was pushing my luck, unfortunately. Just gonna kill the things that are in our way. I'm gonna ignore everything else. Also another thing to note is you saw me use an Ember before the Hodrick fight. The NPC invasions will only happen if you are embered. If you don't want to be invaded and don't want to advance some NPC storylines, don't Ember and you'll be fine. The HP boost is kind of nice though. Great. I don't even need to have no S to get my ass kicked up here. These thralls hurt. Another thrall dart, another thrall dart, another thrall dart. There's so much damage. We grab the fire bombs. This is why I hate thralls. They're so obnoxious. Instead of climbing that ladder, we're going to come over here and grab this plank shield. Now this is another cage enemy. It's not an enemy. It's actually a friendly. You can talk to it, and it gives you a hint towards joining the... I'm blanking on their name. The Purple Hollows, or the Purple Covenant Mound Makers. That's what it is called. If you kill that, you cannot join Mound Makers, so do not kill that one. I'm gonna drop down here. This guy is also friendly. We're not gonna enter his cage quite yet. We're gonna come over here, and we're gonna see if we can get this with the roll. I want to kind of nudge it out, and then when it starts rolling back in, we're gonna roll, push it back in. Now, we can do what I wanted to do. You can examine his cage, cutscene will play, you'll end up down here, which you'll see again in the future. And actually, Hodrick, that jolly fellow that invaded us, who's a parry god, you talk to him and tell him indeed, and he'll give you, keep talking to him, he'll give you the Mound Maker's Covenant and the Way Out, which is a Homeward Bone. And this is where you'll actually offer up the Vertebrae Shackles that you get as a Mound Maker. Now, we are going to go back to the shrine, because not only is 15,000 souls a fair chunk of souls that we don't want to lose, but we've gotten our asses kicked a couple of times. Once when I was AFK, forgot that my mic was muted, and once by the Hollows, so we get another couple levels. We're going to put this one in Dex.
Be safe.
And now we can advance Grey Rat storyline, because he wanted us to give that ring that we got from him to Loretta, but Loretta's dead. So we can give him Loretta's bone, And actually, do we have enough? We do. So we can actually reinforce the Astoris sword now to a +3, and because we have 2 large Titanite shards, one from the dragon and then one from the crows, we can actually get it to a +4.
Be careful.
And also, Cornix is down here. So if you wanted to be a pyromancer, or use pyromancy, you can actually talk to him, and he will give you a pyromancy flame, and then you can buy things. We are going to buy Great Combustion because it is amazing. We can also reinforce a pyromancy flame here. There's a different pyromancy flame in the game that I think I would rather use, but it's in one of the DLCs, so I'm not going to worry. I'll deal with that later. You can give the Mortician's Ashes that we grabbed near the giant shooty boy area, and then we can use souls that we've gotten to purchase a grave key. And also, since we didn't buy right off the bat, we're going to want a torch for later. There's nothing else that she has that I actually want right now. So, spend the rest of our souls. We're going to dump them into our levels, and we're going to get 18 dex. Don't think I'll be getting any more than that. I think 18 dex is like my highest requirement that I actually need. We're also going to burn that Undead Bone Shard while we're here. Make our Astus Flasks +1, and before I forget, we're also going to give Andre here the Estus Shard. So now we have, what, I think 5 and 2? Yeah, 5 and 2. And because we got the torch and the Mortician's key, or Mortician's Ashes for the grave key, we are now going to head to Dilapidated Bridge. Almost done, I promise. I forgot to advance the Grey Rat quest line again. Oh well. We'll grab it when we get back. Now, that key that we bought opens this gate right here. You don't need to buy the key, but it makes things a lot easier. To the right over here, we'll have a loincloth. And if you ever attack an NPC that you want to not have be angry at you anymore, you can pray to the statue of Velka here and request absolution, I believe. Yeah. And that will actually make it so the NPCs won't be hostile to you. I think Disillusion actually, yeah, you can pay souls to reverse hollowing, which is what's going to eventually turn us into beef jerky. But we kind of want the hollowing. It's, at least for the Lord of Hollows ending, which is actually a stat on your screen, I think? Maybe it's not. Yeah, it is. Level 25, Hollowing 2, right underneath the Covenant. Which, I mean, for the sake of the argument, we're going to be some Warriors of Sunlight here. Jolly cooperation and all. Ironic that I'm playing offline and not cooperating with anybody. Down here you'll run into your first cases of skeletons. If you've played DS1, you'll know that skeletons typically are not okay, but these ones aren't bad. These ones are a lot easier to deal with than the skeletons in Dark Souls 1. You come up here. Oh. It seems some of the hollows that normally cross the bridge with the Evangelist fell down. I wonder how many. How many total. We're gonna continue out and we're gonna find out. Hopefully not the Evangelist. Because Evangelists are annoying. They hurt. Alright, nothing. There's this gem lizard. You want to run to the left to make it go to the right so it runs up against the wall. It'll drop a heavy gem. And then I believe we have Titanite Shard. Another Titanite Shard. A chili bowl will fall from the sky. You use the opportunity to punish him with our vastly over-leveled for this section of the game +4 Restore a Straight Sword. It's not really vastly, it's just partially over leveled. And then we're going to pull out our bow for the final time, I believe. Yes. No, yes. At least to shoot down corpses. And a blessed red and white shield. Now the red and white shield's not great. It actually has less absorption than the Catechist's round shield. However, and a little less stability. The thing that's nice about it, though, is that A, it scales with faith, which doesn't matter because that's for its damage, but B, it's blessed. So when we actually have the blessed shield out, you'll actually notice our HP will ever so slowly recover on its own. Ever so slowly. It's like 3 HP every, 2 seconds. But you can also speed that up by, if you just want to, you can just unequip it. I guess the healing's not fast enough for it to cheese it that way. There's a different shield later, or a higher level blessed shield, or a ring later that we can just equip and unequip, and it'll heal a lot of experience, or not experience, it'll heal a lot of HP fairly quickly. We are going to grab the Saint's Talisman, we're going to climb up the ladder, and up at the top of the ladder, we have the person who we can give Braille books to teach us miracles, healing, lightning, the whole 9 yards. She also gives us the prayer emote. We can then just talk to her, accept her service, and she will go back to Firelink with everybody else. Open this door, and here you have Egon of Karim. He's the knight, more or less, told to protect her, but I don't know, Egon's kind of a, he's kind of a dick, but, it is what it is. We're actually going to bait this guy with arrows. Watch out, he's going to throw that cherry bowl as well. Oh, I never attuned Great Combustion. That's unfortunate. I don't have the attunement for it. Oh well, things you learn. Gonna be done there? Okay, cool. Why are you running around? Cherry bowl incoming. I'm gonna pull that shield out to get some healing. I'm gonna roll to the side, not away from. I gotten a spiked mace, so why can't we get a great machete? Oh well. Gonna kill that hollow. And up here, grab this soul packet. Now there'll be 2 dogs right around this corner, guarding another item that we want. I believe more alluring skulls, yes. Alluring skulls are kind of nice because you can throw them at a place and they'll actually draw the attention of enemies to the alluring skull as opposed to you. So you can actually use that to run by or just get the attention of a very annoying enemy off your tail. You're going to open up the big cathedral doors, and yes, no, I didn't forget about the tree. The tree is going to come in the near future. Now we run forward, and the elevator will be going up. The person riding the elevator up is Sigurd of Katarina, a good old onion bro. But we'll be talking to him in the near future. I'm gonna ride this elevator down, and then I'm gonna continue forward and run into your first major pain in the ass of the next area that we're not going to worry about, is an Irithyll Outrider Knight. Another mini version of Vort, except they are a lot harder to deal with. This one's not so bad. We can cheese this one, and we can cheese the second one we run into as well, but that won't be till way later. We are going to actually cheese the living hell out of this one. We're just going to stand here and we're going to just throw fireballs at it. That's all we're going to do. This is one of the enemies that when you kill it, it doesn't come back. So we're gonna kill this one with fireballs. Drink an Estus. Finish it off. Now the reason why we grabbed this bonfire is because this is the fastest bonfire to the last area that we're going to be going to in this section of the game before we go to the tree. And it's also got one of the more useful items in the game there, and that's part of the reason why we want to go and grab it. You don't have to, but I believe it also advances Sigurd's storyline, which is very useful to have for later on in the game. We're going to trigger the elevator, that one to go down, so the one that was here, that went up when Sigurd rode it up, actually will come down, and then we can ride this one all the way up. You'll hear Sigurd at us, and then we can, once we get to the very top, we can run over here, grab a soul packet, and then if you didn't take the white branch for the giant, so he wouldn't shoot you, you can come up here and talk to him, and he'll give you a white branch. And then as long as you have that white branch, he will not attack you in any of the locations that he can shoot from, which is a surprising number of locations. We're going to ride this back down, and right where we see this wood, we're going to roll off. Now you can talk to Sigurd a bunch, but he's trying to think of the best way to deal with that. That is another roadblock of this area. This area has a lot of useful things, so we're going to clear this area with the demon. Getting in our way is going to get out of our way, because we're going to remove it from our way. Now this guy isn't a boss per se, he's like a mini boss, but he's got a lot of sweeping attacks. He can and will push you off the edge. When he powers up, he does a lot of damage. Now, you don't particularly want to just let Sigurd fight him, because A, you do more damage, and B, if Sigurd dies here, you'll actually lose out on Sigurd's quest, which is actually going to get us slab near the end, as tradition dictates. But afterwards, you can talk to him, get a Sig Brow, you get the toast emote, and you keep talking to him, you'll also get the sleep emote. And that's all we can do for him right now. We'll see him a couple of times throughout this adventure. I don't believe there's any items on the back side here. Then we can go over here, grab this item, come over here, climb this roof, drop down into that corpse, and come on. Fine. Okay, fine. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna shoot it down. How are you kidding me? Whatever. It'll have a pale tongue, and this one will have the northern armor set. Northern armor set's actually not terrible. It's actually better than our pyromancy garb by a fair chunk. It's also heavier, so maybe not wear all of it. It's up to you. I mean, it really depends on what class you started with. We have 10 vitality, which I probably should have been putting into a different stat, but, you know, it is what it is. So we're going to continue up. To the left here, there'll be 2 corpses. Very obvious which which 2 are going to drop down. We're just going to kill them with the thrust. Move on with their lives. Grab the alluring skulls. And go around the corner. Kill this guy. 2 more dogs. Alluring skulls are very effective against dogs if you don't want them to follow you. However, we're going to use them for something different. Or we can use them for something different. This is actually just a total bait. It's got more of the 4 more of these guys that drop down. Not too big of an ambush. If human pine resin is actually useful. And then up here is one of the times, or one of the things that we could use the alluring skulls for. You could throw them at the evangelists and then run to the left because they'll attack the skulls instead of going after you. Or you can do what I do. That's just this one on the right here has a awfully nice way of just standing there. You can shoot it in the head and constantly stagger it. With all of our arrows that we bought from Grey Rat. That removes one of the evangelists. And that makes this a one-on-one fight. Which is significantly easier than a two-on-one fight, especially with both of these guys doing lots of sweeps. Another spiked mace. Never can get those to drop when I want them. We're gonna run up here. Come up here, we'll get Flynn's ring, which is good if you're going for 0 equip load, so just your weapon and that's about it. I'm gonna drop down here, drop from here down to here, go around the corner, I'll grab an item here, and then you're gonna want to make sure you're topped off. You're gonna want to sprint, jump, and land on this platform, and then just fall down to this one. Here will be the Mira set, which is from Dark Souls 2. And right here is the glorious Chlorantony ring. Probably one of the most used rings in Dark Souls, besides the Ring of Favor and Protection, or the FAP ring, and Havel's ring, because having more equip load is wonderful. Now we can do the last chunk of things. We're going to head back to the shrine one more time. We haven't died, so we won't get anything from our other guy, from Yol. But we can talk to Arena over here if we want to. You can learn miracles from her. Caressing Tears is very useful for later, but I mean, we won't be using it. At least not right now. We've effectively advanced Corinx's and Grey Rat's quest line, so you can come talk to Corinx again, and he'll give you welcome. And since we have the Titanite shards, we're going to reinforce the Piracy Flame. Then now, Grey Rat's going to be curled up because he's really sad that Loretta was dead. Give us the curl up emote, and we're going to also go talk to Leonhard. He will give us a lift key. Now the lift chamber key we can use, since we have to talk to Grey Rat one more time, we may as well just go and take care of that real quick. I'm going to go to the tower on the wall. Every single time you leave the Firelink Shrine and come back to the Firelink Shrine, it advances conversations with the NPCs, I guess, for lack of a better way of wording it. So like Grey Rat, when we came back, he was curled up. We're gonna just drop down here, get away from this guy. Just gonna outright destroy him with our weapon. Now that key is for this door over here. Now, this in itself isn't a terrible thing, but it is a bit rough this early. Because what that's at the bottom here is a Dark Wraith. Now the Dark Wraiths hurt, they're very irregular. Like their attack patterns are very strange. But they can be, you can deal with them the same way you deal with everything. You can dodge, you can parry, you can just kind of backstab fish. It's a little bit harder to backstab fish to Dark Wraith. It's totally possible. You can also just cut them down whenever you have an opportunity. I got greedy. No! Well, now I have to go down there and kill him. Because that's 12,000 souls that I didn't spend. Like a dumbass. Oh well. I mean, it is what it is. I never said that I was never going to die in this guide, let that be known. This is a guide, hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. And not make the same mistakes I do. I make plenty. Might try with fire on the Dark Wraith this time, but he is quite aggressive, so I don't know how well that's going to work. Guess we'll find out. I still don't have great combustion. Why am I an idiot? Whatever. I guess Fireball will have to work. We'll see how well that works with the first throw and go from there. If it looks like it's doing a lot, then cool. If it looks like it's not doing a lot, then I'll fight him the old-fashioned way. That doesn't do a lot. That's really unfortunate. And before I get annihilated, grab my souls. Oh, not again. No, no, bodies. Okay. Alright. He drops the complete red eye orb, which you can use an infinite number of times to invade other worlds. Personally speaking, not a fan of invaders, but if that's what you get from this game, and that's what you enjoy doing in this game, so be it. All I ask is don't be one of those people that just invade just to be annoying. Best kind of PvP in this game that I've seen is the kind that's just like a one-on-one, not aggressive, or hell, I mean, I've seen people invade where they just kind of hang out, just follow you around and don't do anything. Those people are the best. We're going to get 14 attunement, and then we're going to get, start putting some points in strength. I should put it in vigor, because I've got a lot of HP that I could be using right now. But I'm investing for the future. So Grey Rat, when he comes back, he will ask him if he wants you, or if he will ask you if you want him to go pillage, and you can send him to pillage the first time without any issues. And now, if we come back to Firelink, he won't be here. But after we kill a boss, he will be here. Talk to Landhart. I don't think, yeah, he doesn't care that we got the full red eye orb. We're going to now finally finish up the Undead settlement after this long section, and start from the cliff underside. It'll be the fastest way to get to where we want to go. And we are going to go from cliff underside straight to the boss. You're going to slap on charcoal pine resin on our bar. This is going to make the boss a cakewalk. We're just going to run past everything. Ignore all of it. We're just going to run straight. Still forgot about my goddamn pyromancy. Oh well. I now have the slot to use it, but I didn't actually equip it. I'll remember eventually. Now, the enemy in this area, the boss in this area, didn't catch me by, or like completely caught me by surprise the first time I came through, because I didn't even know it was there. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go kill all these things, and then you noticed boss health bar appeared. It was actually the tree in the corner. We're going to apply charcoal pine resin. Go into that guy, stagger him. We'll avoid his foot. Then we're going to go and chop at his ankle. And then we're going to chop at his grundle. And the third area that we can hit at this point is the one on his hand, I believe. If it wanted to get out of the ground. Whatever. Oh, it was on the other hand, that's why. Makes perfect sense. Now, all of his other weak spots goes to the one on his supple thigh. No, we didn't. The one on his hand. the ones on his back after you break another one. And now the grotesque hand coming out of his crotch. Chest. I suppose it's coming out of his like belly, but whatever. Now, the reason why we grabbed the Mound Makers beforehand is because now we can't get the Mound Makers. Because Hodrick's dead. Poor old Hodrick. Now, this bonfire we can take straight to Firelink for the conclusion of a couple of things. And the to also gain a couple of things. Step 1, we're going to go and trigger the fog walls to go away. And we're going to hope for a seed of a giant tree. Keyword being hope, because the odds of you getting one increases based on how many times you've been invaded. Now Grey Rat left, didn't even know he was gone, but because we killed the boss, he's back. Now he's got a bunch of things. He's got the Zweihander, which is really nice. He's got the Pontiff Knight Curved Sword, pretty good. He's got a Lightning Urn, which we're going to buy one of. Bandit's Knife, Estoc, Short Bow, bunch of shields, the whole Knight armor set. If you wanted some heavier armor and are totally fine with dropping that ludicrous amount of souls on. The Knight Shield, which also is a very good 100% physical absorption shield. Kite Shield, which is just a little bit worse than the Knight Shield, but it works as a 100% physical resistance shield. Some new arrows, which, we'll hold off on the arrows for now.
Goodbye.
But he's got some new stuff.
Stay safe.
And then, I believe, yeah, we don't have any more Titanite shards. So now we're going to sit the bonfire. We're going to tune our Great Combustion, because I'm not going to let that fly anymore. We're going to go talk to Ludleth up here, because we got the transposing kilns from the tree. We're going to give him the transposing kiln, and now we can transmute boss souls. Vort has the Great Hammer and the left Pontiff's left eye. The Great Hammer is literally a great hammer. It is very, very good if you can use it. Its weapon art is Perseverance, which allows you to just kind of ignore hits when you're swinging. Very useful for a couple of things. We're going to take the left eye, because I don't intend on getting the strength for that. And then we're also going to take the Hollow Slayer Greatsword, which is a fairly solid weapon at this point in the game. All weapons that are transmuted from boss souls, though, will upgrade with Titanite scales, of which we have one, and it was from the giant lizard that we killed in the graveyard. But while we're here, as a final thing, as soon as the fog walls go down, come on, let me through. Thank you. Seed? Damn. Well, I was kind of hoping that would have fallen, because that would have been a nice conclusion to this. Because we have a couple more items that we're going to give to the crows. The seed would have been one of them. Now what the seed of a giant tree does is, when the seed of a giant tree is used, it turns enemies that are in invaders that are in your game against, it turns the enemies that are in your game against them. So we're going to leave a black fire bomb, we're going to leave the lightning urn, and we're going to leave the Sigbrow. We would have left the seed of a giant tree if we had it, but we don't. So, yeah, it is what it is. I don't think there was anything else. No. Now, we get the Armor of the Sun, the Iron Helmet, and a Titanite chunk. So now we can actually mostly cosplay I say mostly because we don't have the pants, which comes from the seed of a giant tree. The Solaire, which actually his armor is fairly solid. It's not super heavy, and it has a lot of poise built into it. It's actually better than the Fallen Knight armor, which we'll get in the next part, but that's, you know, the next part. There's absolutely nothing else, I believe, we can do here except spend our souls on levels. Yeah, no more deaths from him. I don't want anything that Grey Rat sells right now. Nothing new from the Handmaiden. So now we will just spend our souls on levels. And then conclude this part of the guide. So in the meantime, thank you all for watching. And we will continue the next part of this guide in the dreaded Road of Sacrifices, which is what everybody likes to hear about. This whole next part of the game is one of my least favorites, but it is what it is. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.